being that deciding map, Dean, feels like a very risky strategy for both of these rosters.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think for Akimbo they could have got anywhere where they would have felt comfortable, in fairness, and for HEET, maybe the likes of Ancient or something would have been slightly better, but even then that would have been very debatable, so I'm not sure where exactly they could have gone with this. But yeah, as you were saying, we weren't really expecting a map 3, but neither team could pass over the opportunity to give us a third match between these two teams. It's always fun watching two teams from the same region, from the same country, competing against each other. It just adds that little bit of extra spice, and a third map is always going to up the ante a little bit more, and I'm surprised we're seeing such a kind of, I guess, passive hold here from the T side right now. It looked like they were getting ready to move quickly in towards A, and there is a heavy stack from HEET that they're eventually going to clash with.
Nice read against the team that you have no data on whatsoever. 4 players ready for the long hit, but Maka straight through the tree as wallbang down Afro. Body at least there to trade. They're not sniffing out this stack just yet. Keels has a lot of the late round utility, and he's still the first man in, so that gets dropped in no man's land. And as they double back this T side and start to make their way over towards B, Djoko is still here. He's got one flashbang to work with to get himself out of this angle, and the last of the T side utility has just dropped. They lost their smokes, and it's going to mean Python has got a lot to do here. 2 players already fast flanking into the connector. Flashbang to get them out into the open. Taken full advantage of as a clean headshot connects. Making a double, and Kyojin is left 1v4, dinked up, dealt with by a flying body. And HEET, starting as they mean to go on, they needed a statement pistol, Dean, and they've got one.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, though, they did also get the initial pistol on Inferno, then lose 7 rounds in a row. On Dust 2, if I recall correctly, also got pretty close to taking the pistol. If it wasn't also for Afro, then having a... it got close to it because of Afro, rather, having a bit of a hero round, but they weren't able to finish out the 1v1 in the end. So I don't think pistol rounds have been their biggest of issues. They seem to actually find a lot of success within them. It's now on the guns where I want to make sure that they don't drop it, because they're up against what is a pretty decent buy from the T side. They've got 4 rifles, and they lost the first round. You'll love to see it, Wolfie.
Welcome to the economy in 2022.
Should be used.
Inflation's on the rise. Millennials can't afford a house, but a CT side can get 4 M4s on a second round buy. Scout in the hands of Afro. It does mean they're a little slim on the utility. They are having to make their sacrifices. Keels starts to make his... Okay, Afro. Keels does not make his way up because Afro is just having none of it through the smoke. Scout finds the connection. That's a nice opening to find as well. Right as they were starting to queue up and potentially think about this A-site pop, they stop in their tracks. Now stuck behind a wall of smokes. 55 seconds left. They are fully committed to this A-site hit. Nothing is going to stop them, and there's no real utility to stall it either. So as the nades start to fly over, it's going to be on these headshots. Afro spots a couple, tags up HEETdjoko. Drops back with his own utility. Pop flash to give himself a little bit more breathing room, and with 40 seconds left, Akimbo, they're stuck. They're stalling. Another tag. Afro finding consistent damage now with that scout, but the frag's not quite coming. Djoko just about with 2 bails them out, make it a third. And as quickly as it looked promising, it is ripped away from them. HEET, it's a little awkward as they find a couple of frags going against them on the entry to the site, but Djoko is there, and he mops up brilliantly.
Yeah, and a fairly clean round as well. That'll let them now expand on that economy off the back of what is just an eco here from the T side. A few nades, pistol-wise. They have a deagle bot up, P250 as well, but that's going to be it. They need to prioritize getting their guns out in this next gun round, so I'm expecting there really not to be too much of a fight being put up. We'll see, though. That nade actually done some damage onto Djoko. He's going to stick around for now. He has support from Afro, but he stays too long, gets destroyed by Kyojin. Afro's also going to receive a dink in his efforts to try and equalize the numbers, and while he does succeed in that effort, it's still going to be dangerous now as they start to pile through, but it's being dealt with. Only damage found. Those finishes are so close, but it's not enough now unless Python can manage to connect a couple of shots and at least get some damage done off the back of it.
Timing's good for him, but he won't quite find it. Body on low HP will continue to frag out. A USP just driving by on low HP to find himself the kills. And 3-0. A little bit of stabilization needed, but it's been found well by HEET on the CT side of Overpass. We'll be able to buy fully into this one. Afro will have his big green in hand. Full rifles, full util, and Well, Akimbo, as much as they can't afford the AWP into the hand of Maka, they do get everything else they'd want. 5 AKs, 5 full belts of utility. Some early pressure up towards the fountain just to ward Djoko off his initial ideas.
We're not going to be seeing the same crazy aggression on those peaks in on mid this time, but haven't gone for it in those early rounds. It was an attempt, I suppose, to get Akimbo accustomed to it and maybe slow down their advance in this early gun round. And it has done so a slight bit. They're definitely expecting the aggression to, or presence rather, to at least be around the toilets, I'd imagine. And well, you do have Lucky currently tucked in, or rather, Djoko currently tucked in behind Guardian right now. No one's really looking to find any early fights from the CT side. For now, happy enough to sit back and wait for the pressure, I suppose, to come their way. And it is doing so. I was going to say that deep long smoke now really restricts what sort of info they have. And that forced Djoko to take a little bit of a risk in towards short. He falls, but they do still have Afro on the up right now, but he's got 2 to deal with.
He's going to lurk in. He wants more, and he'll get more. Playing around the front of the bathrooms, Afro. Huge impact on that AWP. He wants Python as well. The pop flash is perfect, though, and with Keels finding body, Afro needs this kill. Python able to punish. Nobody home on the A site now as all the frags are found. Lucky and Exercise a long way away on this rotation. Lucky dumping utility, hoping to catch a timing instead. He's going to catch aggression. Pushing down bank is Keels, and this timing is going to be everything. It's well read. Exercise, a critical kill to keep his team in it. Python just buying time on the site itself, playing that headshot angle. He finds another. He's missed Lucky, though, who transitions right on past, and he's got the second, lines them up. They had no idea he had snuck his way out the dustbin. He sacrifices his teammate, but it does not matter one bit. The frag is found, a 4th round on the board, and the first of the full rifle buys goes the way of the CT side.
It's a closer one, but it doesn't matter too much when they had those cleaner rounds and the ones before. They can afford to have these gun rounds come down to the wire as long as they are taking them. And well, that's the way it's going for Heat right now. They're looking to start finding some success here finally on Overpass after it eluded them pretty much for the entirety of Dust 2. Nice and sharp turnaround, I guess. A quick break between the maps allowed them to quickly reset the switch in their mind, and that's kind of what they get from that experience. As we said, having played together now for quite a while as this 5, they can kind of tune themselves back into focus a little bit quicker. We are getting a pause. This has got to be from Akimbo, considering they do have just about enough to buy, so they want to make sure this goes to its best possible use, I suppose. Is there a weapon on the ground for Python already? I'd presume so. It looks like they've swapped and he dropped the op over to Maka, I believe. Yeah, there we go.
Just doing a little bit of juggling. Making sure they can get what they want. Maka going to post on that AWP. Trying to take control of Fountain. It's going to be absolutely charged at by Djoko. He's been blind for so long. The trades, at least initially, are fair for the T side, but they've lost a huge swathe of map control. Kyojin making sure they don't lose any more. Djoko cut down, leaving Afro in a very awkward position now. They needed another rifle here. Instead, it's the Orpa and Kyojin. But he might just bypass him entirely. I'm not sure he's going to expect necessarily that there's an AWP still posted. So the timings are going to become absolutely everything now. Afro will start to think about the backstab, think about some timings of his own, and he may well catch Kyojin looking the wrong way. If he gets lucky, it's going to be all on this. There he is, spots him. The scope is hurt, though, and Kyojin with the 180. One bullet, tapped straight to the skull, leaves Exercise and Lucky with no idea what's going on at this point. The bomb's starting to make its way out, Monster. Hadji has given that away now, but it's a kill that surely secures the round. Kyojin, you monster. 3 absolutely critical kills in the nick of time to keep Akimbo alive in this round and to finally register them on the board.
Yeah, as Lucky's not really given any option other than to just save that weapon, which, after the damage that was done in that previous round, isn't actually going to allow them to get a full buy, I don't believe. They'll probably try and scrape something together with Afro looking at the double eco, but it's not going to be perfect. So this is a great way for Akimbo to wake up, keep 4 standing, have the op as well, of course, being carried over, and it'll allow them now potentially in this next round to take some control away and start chaining some rounds together. It does look like they're willing to hunt this as well. I'm kind of surprised. They don't have a great economy themselves. Losing more than weapon could hurt them in the long run. I guess they're thinking it's worthwhile due to Lucky not only having a gun, but as we know, he does also have a pretty good economy behind it. Probably a bit of a read on the fact that the economy is fairly strong for some players, but yeah, they're not going to get to him in the end. Lucky saves that one over. He can go ahead and drop some weapons now as well. He can drop one M4 and maybe even a little bit on top of it. No, he's actually going to drop the op, I believe. Yeah, 47.50 spent. He gives it over to Afro. And I like that. While they are now going to have some weaker weapons behind it, Afro can maybe go and try and get something done early on to alleviate a bit of that pressure.
Need that AWP to start popping off. A little unfortunate that Kyojin heard the scope last round, you have to say. Ears of a hawk. It's in what he's after. It's going to be the AWP battle on short this time. Maka up against Afro, and the timing of the aggression is everything. Oh, Afro! He gets Maka, and he gets more than he bargained for. Hadji swinging behind him, doubles it up. Lucky finds 2 more of his own, and a little bit of magic for Heat. A round that must be theirs. Kyojin is left wondering what went so damn wrong. One moment they had short control. 3 seconds later, he's the last man in the server. Bomb drop deep in the short tunnel makes it even worse for Ware. He'll look for damage, look for frags. Doesn't want his economy to become disjointed, so really wants to die, and Body is going to oblige. They could save the double AWP now if they wanted. Going to stick with the single, however. 3 AKs saved across to the next, and a little bit of magic from that dropped AWP ding.
Yeah, understandable they don't want to go for the second either. Afro gets himself a couple of kills. They're having the freedom as well to be a bit more aggressive with those rifles, then backing it up as well is what they want, I think, considering how they've been playing so far. Lucky doesn't even have a death yet. Having a great start to the match, and well, the opposite to be said about Akimbo is, again, they need to call in a bit of a pause, chat about what's going wrong. They can get another buy here at least, so that's not going to be the issue. But it is starting to slip away from them a small bit. One thing we haven't really got to see from Akimbo, as we were kind of saying, it was a possibility when I was looking at the kind of stats for Python. He tends to rock the up a little bit, so I do want to see if they can get enough rounds going here on their T sides that maybe rather he can actually get that going over on the CT. Show us what he's capable of. I do recall he picked it up at one point and was saving it on that T side of Inferno and hit some nice shots.
There's definitely space for it on the CT side of Overpass, but you need enough T-side rounds to give you the economy. And Heat are doing everything they can to deny that. Boosted up in the connector. Python through the smoke will find the refrag, though, and Maka will get one more. Lucky picked off on the B site, and an awkward spray from Exercise is punished. The back and forth continues almost immediately. Heat are out of the round, much as Akimbo were in the previous. Kyojin remains as the lurk. Rolly seems very comfortable in up towards this A site. Afro's found for free, and you can see Body immediately. Nothing more to it, just looking for the save. Bomb will go down on the lower site. The round will be Akimbo's, and this T side, we said, it's got to start clicking sooner rather than later. And Kyojin, well, he's finding a rich vein of form to make sure that happens. Second on the board. 4 rifles kept up. Economy starting to reach breaking point for Heat. And this is a big opportunity for Akimbo to start establishing themselves in the final map of this series.
Yeah, very similar in terms of if they wanted, he could pull out another buy that would be somewhat on par to the one that they won out before. The only difference is they wouldn't have had an op. So this time they've decided against it. 4 again survived for Akimbo as well. So they're going to be looking good now if they can just ensure that they keep at least that standing here again. And at that point then will really have the chance to start clawing their way back in. The fast rounds, though, seem to be what's working out for them. That's how they've won out both so far. Obviously, it's not the most sustainable method, especially once it's caught onto. But against these pistols, you're not really expecting anyone to be moving too quickly. You don't want to get caught up close and personal. You want to keep your range, and as you can see with those rifles, just win out fights with ease at that point. And oh, look, he even gets spotted. I was going to say, I wonder if this will work out for him. He'd been boosted up. His teammate had died, I think, going back up mid. So I was thinking maybe they wouldn't expect him there, but no, he was spotted.
Checking all the rat angles, making absolutely sure, and getting through it cleanly as well. You see the impact in the Akimbo economy now, looking down the right-hand side of the screen. Everybody's flush with cash. Everybody's got at least a buy in the bag. A very different tale for Heat. You not only need to get this round, but need to start getting them cleanly as well. They will be able to buy, but the utility extremely thin on the ground. No defuse kits in sight. Several players sacrificing head armor. Of course, not so much of an issue up against the AKs. Biggest concern right now would be with 20 odd seconds gone in the round. The utility is already starting to look dangerously thin. No opening frags found. Both teams just happy to sit and wait.
Yeah, I think that it's a slightly better approach for Akimbo, though, considering the nades are not too great for Heat. Somewhat on par with what Akimbo have themselves, I suppose, but a little more valuable, I suppose, for holding off these choke points on defense. I'll have to see. I'm pretty sure that Molly was here being pulled up close on Monster as well there by Hadji, so he should be aware there's at least one player up close on the right. A second probably wouldn't be expected. For now, with 50 seconds remaining, they need to make a decision about where exactly they want to bring this. And, well, they begin to move towards A. Joko decided he wanted to go forward after hearing a couple of steps, and unfortunately, that's a bit too ambitious. He pays the price for it. As Maka finds yet another opening, it's Hadji to go ahead and expand on top of that now, and that's going to send them barreling towards B, where it's only Lucky standing, but he's been playing fantastic so far.
Kyojin ducks it, Afro gone, and now both sides are looking so vulnerable out in no man's land. It's Body to find one. 20 seconds left. He's buying a lifeline for Lucky, who is going to have to do it all on his own down here. Smoke on Monster, and he whiffs the spray. Python there to get it done. And leave Body in the 1v3. This was the round where they needed to stabilize that CT economy, and none of it. Akimbo, through Maka's original baiting and Hadji's aim, have found themselves a fourth, have found themselves arguably a fifth as well. The economy in tatters for Heat. And this is where things start to get really interesting. Akimbo, after initial struggles, are starting to find their feet. You can see their individuals starting to warm to this series. And for the boys on Heat, Body is there. Yes, Lucky not far behind, but a few of those guys are really struggling to find their footing, to start finding the consistency that they are so desperately going to need. The early nade stack gets good damage, but they need a little more than that from this round. They'll want a couple of frags. They'll want to take this AWP away on a timing, and all Joko might well catch it. Indeed he does. Maka, the low HP, one dig finishes it, and Joko on the AWP gets another. This starts to get worrying now. Man advantage is there for the CT side. AWP is posted on the bomb. There is a two-man swing to recover it, but if Joko can trade 1-for-1, that's more than enough. He's trying to isolate these 1v1s, but he looks the wrong way. Python takes him out. That'll be the bomb recoverable. They've spotted out Afro as well, and his USP will not chime through. So 2-on-3, it's two P250s in towards this lower site. They are going to be tested. Exercise tucks himself close to the wood. Lucky planted on this pillar. And of course, Akimbo slow it down. They know exactly what they need to do. They need a pick unopposed to give themselves the entry. Hadji's just lurking, making absolutely sure that AWP is not going to be recoverable. They really don't have much time if they want to bail out of this now, Akimbo. But with Keels finding that frag onto Lucky, that should be it. Exercise, up close and personal, will be able to drop that bomb. Grabs an AK, but the aim punches his undoing. It's good damage, but not the round they so desperately crave.
It was so back and forth as well from Akimbo. They really weren't sure where they wanted to end it, as they were finding kind of a mixed bag of success and failure towards both of the bomb sites. And yeah, the chaos in the end just did work out in their favor. As we said, Lucky not able to land that spray over towards Monster is kind of what bit them in the end. As again, we get the pause. Plenty of pauses. If they're tactical ones, then I'd imagine at this point, Akimbo probably only have a couple left. It feels like, anyway. But obviously plenty of economy there on both sides to keep the buys going for now. But if Heat lose this one, then they're going to be in a lot of trouble. Not just because they'll be looking at an eco, but because already Akimbo have got themselves an okay T side of 5 rounds. Obviously, you want more, but if they do get their 6th round off the back of this one, then a 7th comes to them easily. And how they've been going throughout this half so far, haven't just kind of taken the momentum away. They could be looking at maybe even the 10-5 still. Are we having some connectivity issues or something? Is that what it is for Python and Maka, maybe?
It is a tech for Akimbo.
It is a tech, yeah, okay.
I can tell you that.
Both are yet to buy up, so I'm presuming it's at least one of those lads that is having an issue.
We'll have to wait and see. We'll get there eventually. Both teams will take the breather, I'm sure, with open arms this round. Arguably the swing of the half here. As much as Akimbo do have decent economy built up, they're only 1 or 2 rounds away from a reset. Heat in dire need of making that reset a reality, right? They need to start punishing. So as this tech pause finishes and we get back into the action, it's time for some of those big fraggers on Heat to step up. The bodies, the afros. Want a little more from Exercise, ideally. And this is the moment he has to show it. No AWP, so it's going to be Afro unopposed in his opposition. 5 AK-47s headed his way. Can that be the difference maker as they're going to absolutely charge him down on the fountain initially. Flashbangs isolate him and Kios, well, he just keeps on holding W. Free frag. Joko at least there for the trade, but the AWP is gone. In the blink of an eye, 4,750 lie wasted on the floor. And off the back of it, the T side want to up the pace in towards this A site.
It looked to be the case for a moment, but they've actually just kind of halted it then as they moved to come up through connector. And I was going to say understandably so, because the rotations could have already come in, but then you have Maka somewhat taking the fight alone over towards Long. That causes him to go down in the end. The Joko, who pulls off his second frag, and well, now on a 4-on-3, I think Akimbo may be questioning exactly what they want to do with this. They don't even have the bomb currently in their possession. It's back towards Party, and in an effort to cross back and get there here for Hadji, that could be, unfortunately, his demise, because Joko's creeping back through the bathrooms. They have no idea. Python is sitting stuck. Oh no, Joko didn't expect another player to be coming in from behind. And with that, just about gets caught before he could get his weapon back into his hands. It was a bit of a delayed reaction from both right there. But the man advantage, importantly for now, has stayed in favor of Heat.
That was what they needed so desperately. Problem is, it is still an isolated fighter. Lucky alone on this lower site. Smoke will start to drag the rotation down. Exercise should be there just about in time, but Lucky needs at least a kill. Through the short smoke they come. Pop flash to try and get them out. Hadji lightning quick, but Exercise is there in time. Just about nails the train, and with the bomb dropped on short, that's time up. Heat, by virtue of the clock, will have their 6th round. Kyojin opts for the save, and with the money of his teammates, will be able to get the full buyout across the board. And this, again, is the problem for Heat. It's a round that goes their way, but there's just 2 players left alive on the server, so they can barely afford to stomach this buy. They'll drop what they can to try and get it going. Afro, despite the successes of the previous round, will find himself stuck down on a deagle. AWP getting ripped away for no gain has really left him out on the lurch. Utility sure, but lacking firepower and in need of an early pick of Heat.
Yeah, not having the op this time like they did previously when they were on a slightly weaker buy. Obviously, Afro stuck down on the dig. It's not ideal, but they've taken the gamble to heavily stack this up towards B, and it looks to be the right decision. We haven't really seen this quick B approach too many times from Akimbo, but they are going to do it now, walk it into the 4-man stack, but it doesn't matter. They've overrun it completely. There's only a couple of kills returned to the as a response, rather, from Heat, and with that, a very quick round puts it back tied at 6-6 once again. And unfortunately, it's not going to stay there very long, as Akimbo should have a very easy round here up against, at most, I'd imagine, a few pistols.
So much confidence at the moment from Akimbo. Hadji is just swinging everything. He's feeling it. He knows he's in their heads at the moment. And just like you said, Dean, the pistols will start to come out. Body on a dig. 5-7 for Exercise. It's not a good look at all. Joko going to be tested early up by the rock. Deeg on the headshot angle. Okay, Joko grabs 2. And suddenly this French team will start to get a little bit excited. Kyojin finally there to put him down, but that is a huge amount of damage out of nowhere. A man advantage to work with as well, and it starts to open some holes in this offensive. Some opportunities for aggression. At the moment, Heat are opting not to take them. Body is waiting with a pot flash setup in towards Monster. Akimbo are being very cautious about their moves. They know this is the round they cannot afford to lose. This was the surefire lead. And instead, that one pot flash may well be its entire undoing. There is a 5-7 and a P250 waiting on this. Body holds the key. 2 flashes to work with. 3 players currently queued outside of Monster with 50 seconds left on the clock. Now, if they contact out here, there's going to be no queue. There's going to be no alert. So it's going to be up to Exercise alone on the 5-7 to open things up. Needs the flash now. It's too late. Body just doesn't throw it in time. And HEETdjoko takes full advantage. 2 quick kills. Body on his own out in no man's land. Trying to do what he can. But Kyojin is there. And all that good work. Djoko's miracle is undone in an instant. The 2 frags he find will be all he get in the round. Such a promising situation falls by the wayside.
Yeah, it looks like they had it set up well as to deal with it also over towards B, but sadly, I think out of those 2 initial players who had the upgraded the 5-7 and the P250, I think they only landed 1 bullet onto the initial player moving out. Not even sure who got it. Either way, at least a little bit of damage was done in the beginning from Djoko. It gives them a chance potentially now to strike through with this and maybe have 1 player or so lacking a few nades. That's the most they can really hope for in terms of economical damage. But it is looking to be, again, a faster approach over towards long. This time they're going to be up against the op of Afro instead of a Deagle, and they're not having that much of an easier time, at least now, though. The second player won't immediately be taken to the graveyard along with the initial one. A nade instead goes over. Djoko does some pretty good damage and should have the finish for himself. It's going to be 2 to his name. He did actually lose Afro in the background in the meantime. Kio's managed to sandwich a kill in there in the middle. But it doesn't matter as they're left in a 2-on-4.
HEETdjoko trying to play the lurk, but can't quite find it. With the bomb down outside of long. Python with it all to do. There's going to be a timing potentially on Djoko, but he has just checked his back. He knows where to look now on the drive-by. Tapping away. HEET find their response. The rifles arguably inseparable at the moment as both French rosters tussling for control. 7 all. 1 round to decide who gets the guaranteed lead at the half. And HEET, well, they've got their economy back at perhaps the most critical of moments. Afro will have his AWP again. Full rifles. Maka won't. He'll drop down to the AK-47. Where does Afro look to leverage that extra little bit of firepower? It's going to be over towards short again. Last time he was here, he collateraled into 2 players. This time, going to be HEETdjoko, who actually dinks body, finds him with the spray down through the CT wood. A huge opening. Lucky is just about there to trade it. And that activates the monster pop. They're just going to charge on out. Python goes down low, but can't find the kill. And now, Afro isolated on short, mollied out, trying for the wallbang, desperate to have some kind of impact in this round. All 3 CT players, in fact, in towards short, and they're just stuck behind a wall of smokes. They've got a flank coming in through connector. And as they try to counter boost, Maka, if he holds the trigger discipline, he's got 2 for free. The spray down connects onto both, and Lucky, he's left alone. They know he's outside Monster, a 1v3 to contend with. There is low HP bars, but so many targets, it's going to be impossible. Kios finishes the job, and it will be Akimbo 8-7 as they look to take the series after the break. narrowest of leads at the half for Akimbo. Very much all to play for as we head over to the CT side. But for Heat, potentially the pressure is reaching breaking point. They're traditionally a CT-sided team, as you said on Overpass, Dean. And this feels like it might not be enough rounds.
Yeah, well, it doesn't look like it for sure, but back it up with a pistol round here, get off to a stronger start than what we've seen on than how we've seen things go, I suppose, in that previous half, and it's definitely possible. Unfortunately, we're starting off with a bit of a pause, so it's going to give them a few extra moments, I guess, to think about what way exactly they want to approach this pistol round. But as we had said, that previous pistol round, we were a little bit shocked that they kind of ended up countering each other so perfectly, considering there is pretty much nothing to go off of for Akimbo, and for Heat as well. It's not a map they play very often.
It feels like the start of, you know, when they do kickoff at like football and rugby and that, and you just have in the background, boom, 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 and then everyone goes mad and it starts. I want to do that, but I know I'm going to get the timing completely wrong, and we're just going to be sat here like lemons waiting for the game to go live.
You could get Valve to like program in the hacker for one of the teams to do. That'd be interesting.
Oh, instead of the music at the start of the round, just have the boom 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 thing. Oh, that'd be sick. Someone email CS:GO dev. They've been replying to emails recently. I'm sure that would be the players. We just watched HEETdjoko disconnect from the server. So this is definitely a tech. It's definitely a tech. There had to be another tech. I don't think we'd had enough this series, right, Dean? Everyone was craving a pause of technical nature. So we'll just take a chill pill. Sit back, enjoy the music, and well, we're going to let you guys enjoy the music because unfortunately we don't have an ETA for HEETdjoko returning, so we are going to go back to the break just for a minute, and then we'll get back into the hype.
guiding me till the end. And if you wanna get up, I guess you better wake up. Forget you ever gave up when you lost control. Forget you ever gave up when you lost control. Forget you ever gave up when you lost control.
It was a long all break, but I promise it will be worth it. We are back, and things are about to get interesting. Do not be surprised by the HUD. It's a little off at the moment, but it will be correct soon. I'm sure Afro doesn't have a Nova. I'm pretty certain the scoreline isn't 0-0. I'm pretty sure we are just setting things up.
Yeah, other way around, I think. Yeah, I think Heat are on the T side, right? So, are they playing out all of the action? Is that what's happening right now? Is there something wrong with the match medic? I really hope that's not what they're doing. Because if so, we're going to be here a while, Wolfie.
Well, Afro just seems to be firing his Nova into the air. Joko is pointing things out, and I think you might be right.
Yeah, because Heat got 7 rounds on their CT, right? Akimbo got their 8. It was swapped over.
Are they working out?
Usually better on CT.
Are they working out the order to kill people in? Is that?
It looks like it.
It looks like it, doesn't it? It looks like they're working out the order in which the kills came through.
Did Lucky clutch out the pistol or get an attempted clutch in the pistol? I don't know. It feels like it was so
The
long
HUDs,
ago.
they were just playing the last round of the half. They were playing the last round of the half.
So they had to do that one. That must have been the last restore point they had. That makes sense then. It just got really confusing.
Just everyone sat here like, why is there a Nova on my screen? What's going on? Why is this a thing? But it looks like we've now got, you know, things are back in a somewhat correct place. 8-7 at the half. And hopefully, we really do hope. Dean and I have been here a while now. We're used to these tech delays, but of course some of you guys watching might not be. So we hope that we will be going live very, very shortly with the second half of the third map. Don't forget, the deciding map between Akimbo and Heat. And with the groups, how they work now, and the sort of lack of time you have compared to the previous seasons, this game really could decide the fate of both of these rosters in terms of getting through to the playoffs or just dropping out in groups.
Yeah, it's a bit different now in general, as we know the 4 groups, as you said, you get to play pretty much for your week of games initially in the groups, and if you don't find success there, you're basically done for. Before, you'd get to play everyone in your massive group and just get a ton of experience, and that was always one of the bigger, I guess, selling points. Now it's all about just trying to get that victory, so a little bit more pressure in each individual game, and I guess that brings higher stakes, so not something I'm really going to complain about by any means. But yeah, hopefully we're ready to get back in soon, because sitting around, it can sap the energy out of us a little bit, obviously before we get back into the casting. So I can't even imagine what it does to the players, especially with it being such a close half and with so much on the line.
Yeah, it must be incredibly draining. But we are apparently ready to go back into the best of the action, starting off that second half. P250 in the hands of Body. Blocks for everybody else. One flashbang. Python has dropped his pistol to get his hands on a set of Julies, which I imagine will be going down the connector.
He had to. Look at the team then. But yeah, it looks to be the goal anyway. And the main force of the D side, though, is fully focused in on mid with a couple over towards long, and we're not live. Definitely not live. But that can't be live. No, we're not. They're all hugging on mid.
They're hugging?
Right, yeah. I'm now very confused.
Well, you're not the only one that's confused. I'm sure myself and a lot of people in chat are wondering, what just happened. We'll wait for clarification, but it looks like they're buying.
Did we maybe miss the pistol round being played out at some point during all the pause? Did it
Quite
happen?
possibly.
Just
Quite
off
possibly.
stream? That must be the case. And it must have been absolute destruction.
What we'll do is we'll presume this is live now. 9-7. Akimbo with rifles in hand. SMG in the hand of Maka. A couple of rifles for Kios and Kyojin. Looking to get very aggressive with that SMG as Maka as they're just wiping their way through the full eco. And well, it may have been a little bit confusing, but it is double digits on the board for Akimbo.
Yeah, up to 10 without really any trouble at all from what we've seen so far anyway. Bit my tongue by accident there. Didn't go well. Come on, dude. All you have to do is talk. I have one job, literally. But here we go.
It's getting there, though, isn't it? It's getting to that time of the evening. We're biting our tongues. The words aren't coming out right. We'll endeavour to continue, however, as Heat looking to bounce back with the rifles. Exercise has taken a good chunk of nade damage early on, and they're lacking the utility, but Joko does not care. 2 quick kills in towards the connector, dealing with both Python and Hadji. Early 3-on-5 to work with. It was a little bit of a bonus round for the CT side. That's worth mentioning for context. MP9 gets caught looking the wrong way. Exercise was an absolute gift, and the Kios and Kyojin, they've set themselves up with a nice little crossfire down towards the lower site. The problem is, they're 2v5. They've got no information about what's going on up on A. And for now, with 1 minute and 3 seconds still left on the clock, Heat are perfectly happy just to sit back, hold their angles. They know at some point there will be aggression. And if there's not, they group as 5. They trade efficiently and the round is done regardless. So the upper site will be taken meticulously by the T side. This will be an 8th round on the board. And Kios and Kyojin will probably have a pretty hard time even managing to save the rifles they've got.
Yeah, there's a lurker left in that direction for now. It's going to be Lucky, who might look to take the weapons away. They don't have much economy at all themselves, in fairness, so losing weapons isn't really going to be anything that they want to happen, but 1 or 2 dropping wouldn't be the end of the world, and with the economy being fairly limited for the CT side, taking those 2 weapons away actually would have a fairly large impact. It would stop them pretty much from getting their buyout, because I think they'd be able to scrape it together otherwise. Maka would probably even get the op for himself. So Lucky, as you can see, is looking to actively fight for it, but I think at this point he's probably got to give up on it and allow for his other teammates to go in and see if they can take them away. But the 8th round, that's what's important. They're going to get themselves onto the board now early on with this initial gun round here on the T side and keep the dream alive, because as we said, they are a fairly CT-sided team here on Overpass. So they need to step it up to kind of the next level right now if they want to make this comeback happen.
Trying to take those rifles away. Joko will do the first. Kyojin last up, tucks himself into jail. Should be able to get away with it, but Body, already down to half HP, just takes advantage of the bomb going off to swing wide and catches Kyojin napping on the angle somewhat. 8th round for Heat. It's an immediate breaker as well for Akimbo. Big decision to be made. They could have opted for the force in the hopes of breaking that T-side economy anew, but instead, it's going to be a half by Deagles. A couple of smokes. Python with the lone HE to try and find some kind of damage. Everybody just settles into this default. The pressure really starting to mount now. It's an awkward fight for Afro, and Kios will eventually find the connection he's after. Big opening kill as Hadji actually manages to double the advantage. Joko, he had so much success previously in Connector. He fancies another crack at it, and unfortunately this time the 5-7 up close and personal does more than enough damage to deal with him. All of a sudden, Hadji's got a rifle recoverable. Kios won't be able to grab the second. That's still in a very awkward position. Exercise guarding it as well, but with a 2-man advantage to play with, you can see how much map control Heat have already lost. That means they have to funnel in towards this lower site.
It's going to be the goal, and the question is how quickly do they move, because there is this potential flank not only through now the spawn basically, but there was a player in towards Connector as well that I was going to say could be a bit of an issue. He's going to join up alongside Maka, and as a nade comes in and takes out Kyojin, I was going to say things can get a little bit scary, but they actually checked for that flank. Hadji though was ready on the AK as Body falls, and well, now both players are left pushing in through short. They spot out Python, but he's just functioning at this point really as a distraction. He's delaying as long as possible, hoping to get something done in the end, and he will even manage to get a kill and some serious damage on top of it as well to make things a bit easier for Hadji in the end. as Akimbo steal away a round that they had no right in winning.
That was the one you couldn't afford to lose. If you were Heat, you had to get that one under your belt. Build yourselves the economy. Keep the pressure on your opposition. Instead, it's a disaster. 2 quick kills on the pistols. A rifle recovered. A fast flank to shut you down. And it leaves that T-side economy on an absolute knife's edge. Boddy even dropping down to the Deagle to try and keep his hopes of winning the series alive. 3 AKs, a Galil and a Deagle. It's not the buy they would have been hoping for. CT side with plenty of firepower advantages. 3 AKs even saved across from the previous round. Akimbo just 5 rounds away from pulling off what would be one hell of an upset. It was a double pony special back in the day. The unsigned roster taking on guys with contracts. But hold that thought. Timing's potentially starting to come in towards the bathrooms here. HEETdjoko is going to back away from it and will be allowed to do so.
Yeah, but a ton of damage had been done over towards Connector a moment ago as well. Joko, I was going to say, was one of those players, but it doesn't really seem to matter. Still wins out the fight against Kios. And, well, HEETdjoko eventually will manage to find himself some action, and I don't know if he's going to escape. He just about had made himself, had managed to get the molly down at least, and had made it around the corner, but he was clipped in the foot. That is very unfortunate, and well, now, despite the damage, the numbers do actually favor Heat. There's a player up close, pinned in against that smoke that unfortunately just can't get anything done. And while they try and push in fast on those rotations, they also just get caught out of position. So it's all on Kyojin now. And, well, he can't really do anything, I don't think, other than save this M4. It's got to be the goal. But as he gets the first kill, maybe now, if he's aware of the damage that's done, he's going to be tempted.
It's going to bait him in if he knows. If he knows how low these players are, he's going to be baited into giving it a go. He has to. You can't afford, knowing that you've dinked up 1 or 2 of these players, you really can't afford to just let this one slip by. The bomb, however, already halfway ticked. Afro catches a nasty little timing, rips his head clean off, and, well, as quickly as Akimbo managed to steal one, it's Heat with the response right back at them. And unfortunately, as is the meta these days, the CT economy tends to be the one that comes off far worse. Gyojin and Python, absolutely nothing to speak of. HEETdjoko, Maka, and Keels can buy. Maka could even get his AWP, or he looks to drop. You have to imagine that's what's going to be what this pause is about, because Heat, as they start to reel Akimbo in now, they're going to be on a full buy. They've got money in the bank as well, both Lucky and Body, with a decent little financial build-up behind them. So do you want to, if you're Akimbo, continue in this economic arm wrestle, keep yourselves at arm's length of Heat, and hope that you can continue to do the kind of economic damage and steal away those miracle rounds? You do. Maka straight in with the AWP. The rifles dropped around to make it a reality. Python, the unfortunate soul who takes the L and drops down onto the 5-7. And, well, this starts to feel like an all-in call now for Akimbo. They know that they are, at the moment, stuck in this perpetual arm wrestle of the economy. And the team that bows out first is going to be the team at a significant disadvantage, so they have to keep going. The nade stack comes out from Heat, doesn't connect onto anyone at all, as a heavy B stack is called by Akimbo.
Yeah, expecting maybe a straight-up B hit, but it does seem like they want to go out through Monster alongside it. A flash over the top, and yeah, nothing for Lucky really to be able to do right there. You got pinned in and pushed down. At this point now, it looks like their options have been severely limited. The bomb for now is just being left. They're going to actually have to leave a player as well to ensure that no one pushes all the way through the spawn out through Monster. And in the meantime, the hope is to get some control around A, but they do still have to deal with HEETdjoko, who's tucked in towards the bathrooms. There's B aggression in towards the water as well. There's a lot to deal with. As the flash goes in, HEETdjoko's going to avoid it for now. No utility of his own to use, unfortunately. But for now, those long players, or that long player at least, isn't going to be focused in towards the bathrooms. And as you said, the timing is perfect. Joko made Nice a couple of steps, and the Nice, of course, with the smoke being tossed out. And with a kill coming in from Kyojin in the meantime as well over towards B, that pretty much seals the deal here. Unless Afro or Exercise have an absolutely miraculous round. And, well, that's a good start, but I still don't fancy their chances.
It's on this flank. It's on Afro. Exercise down to 19. He's going to wait for the flank. He's going to wait to see. And with 20 seconds left, it's got to be a lot of the heavy lifting done. Maka Spotted out, trigger disciplined into it. There's the first, doubles it up, and now it starts to feel viable. Python with only a 5-7, but it's the low HP of Exercise, the last man remaining. Molotov to try and force Kios out. He burns alive, but it's Python on the 5-7 who finds the bailout kill. That should never have gotten that close. They played the flank so well, Heat. But at the end of the day, it's the single smallest weapon the CT side could afford that gets them out of dodge. And again, Akimbo consented to this economic arm wrestle, and it's starting to pay off for them once more. This time, Heat can only afford deagles. Djoko on the sole rifle, 3 deags and a P250. If they get through this, then Akimbo have broken the economy of Heat. They're 13-9 up, and they've got a huge opportunity to shut the door, but it's not going to be easy. All 5 for now, queued outside of Monster, looking to bleed out some of this early CT utility before they pop in.
As you said, this is a super risky investment. Mac is going to join back up with Hadji in towards Connector, and that means Akimbo have everyone ready, really, to get on towards this B-bomb site, or at least in the vicinity, incredibly quickly. So this is not going to be easy for Heat at all. They'll have to place those nades well. Legion up close to Flash. He actually bypasses a player as he swings in. It will allow Djoko to go ahead and get the trade, but obviously turning around himself, then he's left exposed. Kios returns. Maka actually goes aggressive as well, as I said, coming out of Connector right there and catches the Lurker, and yeah, it's just not working out. There is still 2 rifles at least in play, but they're at the moment just wasting time trying to find these players who've been lurking around the smokes, and well, they do eventually get them, but it leaves them exposed once again to Python, who snatches up a headshot, and well, now it falls to only Hadji. He's low on health. His position's known as well, and it looks like Lucky even has an idea that he's crossed over to the sandbags. And at the moment, is thinking, screw the bomb plant, I'm pushing forward and taking this fight. It's risky, though. He's crossed back over again. And with the deagle in hand right now, he needs to land this directly on the body. A missed shot could seal the deal, could be his demise. And no idea. Expect the corner. No, he doesn't. Hadji plays it perfectly.
Catches a really nice timing as well. Just as Lucky looks to tuck himself into the smoke, Hadji looks to escape. And from that point onwards, it was always going to be in his ballpark. It just no idea from Lucky. He lost control of the situation as soon as he let Hadji cross, as soon as he took away his own vision, hoping to catch a cheeky timing inside of the smoke. He gave the ball to Hadji, and well, Hadji was all too happy to play with it. Tucks himself into the close corner, potentially concedes that bomb running away to the other site and a plant open on A, but he gets the call right at the critical moment. And at 13-9, as the pause comes in, the economy breaks. And that is the critical thing. Now, you look over at Heat. They are broken. They haven't got the money. They have to force because they don't want to let Akimbo get the lead any greater than it already is with a 2,400 loss bonus. That next buy, as far as they were concerned, was not going to be good enough. So instead, it's going to be deagles. 1 tech, 9 for body. An assortment of utility. What can they do with this? A missed molly initially for Akimbo allows body a little bit of breathing room, and well, once more, it's the same call for Heat. They think they can do better than the previous. Queuing up outside of the monster. Kios takes the dink on the chin. The early frag is found, and that is go time now. Heat, you cannot afford to mess around any longer. Body is charging in, and he's all the way up the site. Kios has missed him entirely and let him get the backstab, but there's the response. Kyojin recovers it well. An Exercise and Lucky, well, it's a nice headshot for one, but the man advantage still here for the CT side. Kyojin still looking crispy, and the frags still going the way of Akimbo. 14. And this is starting to get out of hand.
It's so scrappy as well, but it doesn't matter. Akimbo just managed to come out on top of it time and time again. What was it? Kios there tucked in on short, didn't quite catch the player running in towards the pit, but even then, he was just so far ahead of the rest of his team that it didn't matter. The rest of them weren't really able to capitalize on all that space that he had created and catch those players who he bypassed. So it doesn't really work out, unfortunately. Now they're finally forced to go ahead and take an eco, and that means when they get this buy, the best they can do is fight for the overtime. Maybe not. Okay, Afro's trying to shut me up real quicker. He does land an instant headshot on the Maka, who I think may have even had the op. I'm not sure if it's in a recoverable position right now. It may have actually just been the MP9, judging by the fact that that's what body he's rocking. Yeah, I was wrong. Apologies.
Steagles are doing work, though. Damage traded between Djoko and Kyojin. He's tagged down to 44. Kios trying to stabilize things. Does pick a player out of connector. Deals with Djoko at the very least. The bomb, meanwhile, has started to creep its way up long. They finally fallen away from these A side, the B side pops rather, and instead they will head back up towards A, dropping the util. CT's immediately counter with smokes and molotovs. There's no messing around anymore. They're aware just how much these last few rounds may well mean. Bomb is in the bathrooms. There is still the possibility to dive down connector, but with Keels being sighted there earlier, they've lost any clue as to if that's occupied or cleared of CT presence. So in all reality, Heat really only have one option left here, and it is going to be this delayed pop onto the A site. They've waited out the CT utility. They've got no more of their own either, so it's going to be a matter of Deagle headshots or bust. 3 players coming in from the bathrooms, 1 from long. If Afro can find Hadji, that would really open things up here. Python spots out 2. They're trying to bait it in, give him as many targets as possible. The shadows give them away, but the frags continue to come. 2 on 2. Body's MP9 comes up big. They try and deny the plant, and they've got it. Kyojin and Keels, the Ks are all together as they just swing into the site freely. 15. And this is it. Last chance saloon for Heat. 6 required to force the OT. They will be buying in, but it's not going to be ideal.
I won't lie, I did get a little bit worried there at the end, though, when Kiaz was in and he was kind of flicking back and forth with the MP9. That's when you can kind of lose control of that weapon and very quickly just get shut down by 2 players who are facing you. So it got a bit scary. As you said, though, good backup, and in the end, they do take their 15th round, and Heat just need to be flawless. That's what they need at this point forward, to get it to OT and then to hopefully win it from that point on as well. As mid-control looks to be the goal. Up through connector, they'll pincer in. Hadji, again, he's played this position a few times now, so something that may be expected as Body waits on the other side of the smoke. He is definitely being cautious, but it doesn't matter. Hadji gets vision first, apparently, and even gets a decent amount of damage there onto Afro before he actually goes down, so that is not a terrible result. The only problem is they do need to rotate someone quickly back up to A. They were taking a bit of a risk here with this B aggression and the stack over towards B.
Yeah, they actually had no presence on A whatsoever, but of course, in these kind of rounds, Heat can't take that risk, right? They can't afford to just barrel. They know it, Akimbo, so they take the control thereafter. They go for their set play. Confirm that outside of B, at least at the time of writing, is clear, but this is a risky call. They are full rotating up onto the A site off the back of it. The bomb is bottom of connector and is by no means at all committed. And in fact, it's going to start to bail away. The bottom condor, rather, is open. Aggression on the A side, but B is wide open for the taking. Keels dealt with by Exercise, and they're going to absolutely swarm here, Heat. Afro sets himself up on an aggressive angle. Kyojin, I don't think he's going to have any idea what's hit him, or will he? Reacts, deals with the low HP player. 3 on 3. Is this story not finished yet? Lucky does deal with another with the HE, but it's Python in with the response. Maka still on that AWP, could have impact, but Lucky and Joko in fantastic afterplant positions here. Python really with no HP to do anything, and that bomb already halfway ticked down. This feels like it should be a done deal. And I think, indeed, Akimbo is starting to realize that that is going to be the case. They made the gamble call. They aggressed on B, then full rotated up, but Heat read it. They saw the lack of aggression. They knew that something was afoot, and they hit the right site at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, the call for the save here really was necessary as well. It was understandable at that point with time ticking away. As you said, kind of back and forth on the calls, and after initially having started off as a full B stack as well, it ended up being the site that was completely open in the end. So yeah, you had Akimbo being pulled back and forth quite a bit themselves. By here as well is really not all that great. They have the up on Maka, of course, a couple of rifles then to back it up with FAMAS actually as well on Hadji. So it's a little bit better than I thought, but the nades are not there, and if he can take this round, then they're on track to only have a couple of gun rounds really between them and an overtime.
They're going to be cheeky with it as well. Lucky is literally just contacting out Monster here. Testing all portions of the map simultaneously. And Akimbo are getting nervous with it as well. You can see the rotations. Heels is pushed into short. Kyojin's all over the shop at the moment. Not sure where he wants to sit or where he wants to hold as Heat just casting out the net. All 5 players separated, just slowly taking swathes of map control. Seeing what they're given. It's a precarious position for Keels as well. He knows his feet are potentially visible if they start to push on up, but he's also got to be conscious of connector. As the bomb starts to group towards the A site, at the moment, that is where the majority of the presence is for this CT side. Maka boosted up, missed shot. And a big opportunity goes begging. Critical pick not quite found. He'll reaggress, but off the back of hearing that AWP, they're going down Con, and this is where Kios needs to go big. There's going to be multiple contacts hidden his way, and Joko on the jump finds it. Kyojin only with a deagle has got to hold down this B site solo, and he's losing teammates left, right, and center. The ult's been picked off. They know exactly where this deagle is. That's it. Python finds one, but it's quickly traded down to nothing. 4 more rounds required to force the OT, and the CT economy breaks.
Yeah, this is getting a little bit rough, as I said. Having now taken that one, it's only 2 more gun rounds, really, that are actually going to be available for Akimbo. So he definitely have the chance now to pull this towards the overtime, and I think it would be a great way to end out the series. Maybe not for Akimbo fans. They wouldn't like to see the overtime. Unless Akimbo win it, of course. But they'd still prefer if they could get it done here and now, I'm sure. But they've been very on and off throughout the series, but whenever they do wake up like this, you tend to see them continue it on. It's what we got back on Inferno. They woke up and then you just didn't really see them look back after, being down 7-1 initially. Dust 2, they just didn't wake up at all. They had a bit of a slower start here on Overpass as well before getting going. So perhaps it is still possible, and maybe that Inferno comeback is in the back of the mind of Akimbo a little bit as well. But it feels like it was a week ago at this stage, considering all the pauses. So I'm sure they've forgotten about it as well.
Yeah, 3 calendar days ago, we had map 2. And today we are back for the deciding half of the 3rd map. P250, full default pistols. Other than that, this really would be a miracle if Akimbo can pull this one off. Stacking up ahead of the fountain. The Molotov will keep them busy, however. They desperately want to swing, but it's keeping them behind it. Dink onto exercise early. He'll find one, but it is traded. Akimbo really couldn't ask for much more than that. Smoke goes in. Body needs to secure the bomb, and he knows it. Kios is going to charge through, and all the timing. If he found that headshot, it could have been huge. HEETdjoko instead will find it on the double drive-by, and now HEETafroo, he's got an AWP. He's desperately isolated. HEETdjoko finds another not like this. 2 left. This was a full eco. Python and HEETdjoko have both managed to recover rifles. They've got bomb at their feet. There is still a minute left on the clock, and that's going to start sowing the seeds of doubt in Akimbo's mind. They've got to look for the flanks, so they start to worry, start to wonder if maybe there is a player down on that B bomb site who's headed back to get the bomb. HEETdjoko will be trusted with the headshot angle. Trusted to hold this one down. Joko up the ladder, lucky to join him through from playground. It has to be an immediate headshot. Neither of these players have armor. HEETdjoko down on 30 HP as well. He's looking the wrong way as they're going to double peek him. They're going to make sure this is as difficult as possible. Spots it. Can't land the shot. Spray down's awkward and he won't connect. Lucky finds both. And Lucky bails his team out of some serious trouble.
Yeah, that gets way too close. As you said, if Kios, I think it was, got that kill rather than it being the trade even as he came through the smoke, then things definitely would have been different right there. But it still got way too close. A solid play considering how little they had to work with for Akimbo as well, and it might motivate them a little bit now to perhaps get it done now that they're back onto the guns. Again though, there's always some sort of a weakness to their buys that they've had over these past 10 or so rounds from what I can remember, and this time it's again that they don't have all of the nades that you could ask for. That smoke though bounced through the molly and actually worked in his favor in the long run.
Kios trying to be cheeky, punished for it. And advantage again there for HEET. They need a miracle round, it feels like. Akimbo really are just trying to pull off the impossible rounds and then falling by the wayside on the simple ones. HEETdjoko playing aggressive in the bathrooms around the corners of this smoke. It's going to be on timing exercise. We've seen this play out before, but it feels like this time it may well be a different outcome. He's going to tuck himself in close. Maka hasn't spotted this, and as the bomb starts to make its way out onto the lower site, again, it's the wrong call at the wrong time for Akimbo. You spoke about Maka lacking experience in the in-game leader role. Is this the moment it starts to show? Flash onto the lower site. There's nobody home. The entire CT side is up on A. Exercise lurking is hearing all of this CT utility drop. There's a monster smoke that's missed. Exercise gets the freebie, and that'll keep them busy. That'll keep them up on this A site as that bomb makes its way slowly but surely into B. Exercise continues fragging and ensures that there cannot possibly be a rotation. Python finally puts him down. But it's going to be by far too little too late, and they will hunt. They will make absolutely sure that Python is not allowed to save this AWP for free.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, but Exercise, he's been so impressive throughout this series so far, I've got to say, in terms of being up there in the fragging department. Looks fantastic on Inferno, and also has done a really good job here so far, of course. Python, though, is doing everything he can to save, and that one kill towards Connector may actually do it for him. Oh, no, never mind. He's being dropped on from behind. Just about spins around. It's up v up, and that wasn't ideal for Afro as he ends up getting caught, and now he's throwing his one away. The money for Heat isn't all that great either.
They had to bail out of the hunt because for a split second they realized the ninja was on.
Oh.
You saw one player rotate down. When he got that kill and dove Connector, they suddenly realized that he actually had enough time to get to site. So there was a rapid rotation from Body in towards CT to make sure that he doesn't find the ninja. And that actually allows Python to save. The problem is the money still isn't there for the CT side, so it's going to be pistols. This is where they very nearly had the majority of their success. It's a quad boost called initially by the T side, but they bail out of it very swiftly. Does mean that Maka has gained full short control. As always with that quad boost, you forfeit near enough all of your map. He peeks into Connector. There's the opening. Joko goes down. Man advantage found, and this is where it starts to feel a little nerve-wracking again, because that man advantage is found. Pistols can now look to swarm, potentially look to recover that rifle as well, and Hadji, I think he's going to take the risk. He's going to start to creep his way up con. Knows there's an AK at the end of it. If he can get away with murder here, that would be huge, and he has. He's grabbed it. They don't want to sacrifice a rifle. All Body. You're playing with fire here, my friend. He's going to try and drop. He's spotted. Gets caught on the ladder, and that's a second. 3 on 5. Not again. One saved AWP. A handful of upgraded pistols. And somehow Akimbo have once again found themselves a 2-man advantage. Maka in these bathrooms could be everything. If he turns on the right timing, if he holds this, he should have a freebie, but he's going to get caught looking the wrong way. He's playing a very dangerous game. He misses his flick. Exercise will punish him. And now it's a rifle and 3 pistols, but Akimbo have got a flank on Hadji with a critical kill. Keeps it competitive in the 2-on-4. Exercise has got it all to do.
Yeah, and I like that Hadji doesn't just peek straight up on long, because if he had have died there, then his teammates may have been in trouble. Instead, moving up through short, the spam even doing some damage and taking attention as they cross over, and that lets Kyojin get it done. Rather, it's 2 on the Deagle. It's going to be the win, the 16-13, I believe, in the end there, coming through from Akimbo, but it gets a bit too close to my liking towards the end of Overpass there. But overall, considering we went in saying Heat were our favorites, I've got to say, we were proven wrong.
Regional match.